This week in Boomtown, helping our growing population stay in their homes. From property taxes to housing stability, new efforts this week to make sure a growing Central Ohio won't price our senior citizens out. Plus, Central Ohio certainly is growing, but can transportation keep up? From planes and trains to automobiles, the projects in motion this week to keep the region moving forward. And from solar power to sustainable cooling, we'll take you inside Amgen and show you how this high-tech facility in New Albany is redesigning manufacturing with the environment in mind. Central Ohio is booming. We all see it, and we certainly can all feel it. So here's what we uncovered this week in Boomtown. Two big developments this week in Boomtown, starting with this. Anduril announcing Roadrunner production is beginning by the end of this year at Arsenal 1, and it is now officially hiring. This is the second line of autonomous defense technology after Fury, which is now being built in Pickaway County. And let's go Columbus, the capital city officially getting a pro women's soccer team set to kick off in 2028. This is all at Scott's Miracle Grow Field. But while the site of the team's new training facility at McCoy Park is getting some pushback, city leaders say this overall investment in one of the fastest growing sports is really positioning Columbus as a destination.
We really want to be a place that creates a destination around happiness and joy and celebrating excellence. And that's what our athletes bring to the pitch every single day. And that's what the fan experience is around our league. And I can't think of anything more valuable to bring to a community than a culture that is embodied by those experiences and those values.
And leaders say that kind of experience is exactly what they believe will continue to fuel Columbus's growth. Thanks for joining us for This Week in Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. As we see growth in all parts of Central Ohio, housing remains a top issue, and many suburbs are taking stock in making sure there's enough affordable housing to go around.
2, 3, go for it.
A ribbon cutting this week putting a spotlight on this growing need. Cobblestone Manor is now open in Grove City with 82 affordable apartments for seniors. Many elderly residents say they're being pushed out of their homes by rising costs. And for some, Cobblestone Manor is a chance to finally age in place.
They need them all over the place because there's an awful lot of people who are middle people. Our income is pretty solid and low, which is what's happened to me. And yes, almost everybody I've talked to here is in the same boat I'm in.
Well, one of the costs hitting seniors the hardest, property taxes. And now a grassroots group is pushing to eliminate them in Ohio. They say they're on pace to get 413,000 signatures needed to get that measure on the ballot.
Home ownership in Ohio is merely an illusion. Any tax causing a citizen to become homeless is immoral.
Now, there is a statewide coalition pushing back, warning that this move could undercut funding for growth, things like schools, infrastructure, and local services. There are also others who say while those services matter, so does affordability, and there's a bigger need for a broader, long-term solution.
We do see a lot more individuals as they age facing housing instability, and we're seeing a growing number entering homelessness.
And it's not just senior citizens feeling that pressure. Many people are facing evictions and homelessness. So this week, Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther announced the city is investing nearly $3 million to help cover legal costs, offer mediation, and help people who are in crisis. It is all money leaders say is critical as incomes struggle to keep up with housing costs.
Housing is one of the biggest challenges facing families here right now in Columbus. Income is often not enough to cover the basic living expenses. And affordable housing, especially larger families, is increasingly hard to find.
Well, one local nonprofit wants to help find some solutions. It is a first for Habitat for Humanity. The Mid-Ohio chapter is building a housing development. And 10 TV photojournalist Bram Folk shares why aspiring homeowners are pretty excited by this news.
This is a moment when hard work, dedication, and due diligence begin to pay off. Our city is growing. New neighbors bring real opportunity, but this speed and level of growth also puts real pressure on our local housing supply.
With that growth comes a responsibility to be more creative, to be more flexible and more responsive in how we plan for housing.
Mid-Ohio is facing a crisis-level shortage of all housing, but especially affordable housing. We are going to do everything we can to help close that gap, to help close the gap of the housing that we have and the housing that we need.
This is about creating more housing options in neighborhoods without losing the character and feel that make them special, fitting new homes into the fabric of a community in a way that feels natural, intentional, and respectful.
The work we're doing is grassroots, and it is life-changing.
My housing hasn't been stable for years. This would mean so much to me because it's going to bring stability to my home. It's just going to bring a lot of peace of mind.
So today, as we break ground and mark the beginning of construction, we're also laying the foundation for something bigger, a more inclusive housing system, a stronger neighborhood, and a city where families have the chance to put down roots and continue to thrive.
Well, the new Capitol line in downtown Columbus started construction this week on Gay Street. This is the first step in the $100 million project. When it's done, the 2-mile loop will connect downtown Columbus to the peninsula just south of the city. This is video from Downtown Columbus, Inc. that shows the vision. The Capitol line is designed for walkers, runners, and cyclists. City leaders say it's all about connecting transit, linking key destinations, and sparking new development. And that is just one of the projects in the works. Pretty snazzy, right? The Central Ohio Transit Authority is laying out the roadmap for our growing region's future. COTA rolled out a new strategic plan for the next 5 years. These future plans for transit don't just respond to growth, but they really help shape it. Linkus, of course, is one such project, everything from adding new bus rapid transit to hundreds of miles of sidewalks and trails and more services morning, noon, and night. Now, COTA says it wants to connect more people to jobs and opportunity as we grow. Spokesperson Jeff Poland told us how the transit agency really plans to make that vision a reality.
We're giving $30 million to municipalities this year to begin some of those sidewalks, bikeways, and trails projects that we
heard
promised.
so much about, yes.
Yes, so that is the first 37 projects are getting funded this year, either in design or construction. 8 of them will break ground this year. We have a total of 83 in the pipeline for the first 150 first 150 miles of sidewalks, bikeways, and trails, and we're committing up to 500 miles over the next 24 years. A lot of people don't realize that Link Us is a 25-year commitment, and we're only out of year 1. This is year 2.
And it doesn't happen overnight. You need the infrastructure before you actually see the physical construction of these things happen.
Absolutely. You have to make sure that you have a good designed project.
Really appreciate Jeff coming on the show a few weeks ago to talk about this. Meantime, there's a push this week to bring an old way of getting around back to Columbus. You know, it's been nearly 50 years since trains last ran through the capital city. But now some new momentum to bring passenger rail back.
We're seeing incredible passenger growth in states like North Carolina, in states like Virginia, in Minnesota, and down in Alabama, Mississippi, and New Orleans. Those are where new rail lines have been built in the past 10, 15 years.
Now that is Mitch Radakovich with All Aboard Ohio. The group hosted its first ever Ohio Rail Summit during mid-April, and it brought out leaders together to really talk about how to move passenger rail forward.
There are 2 ideas here in the Columbus area that are very much alive. One of them is called Midwest Connect, which would come from Pittsburgh through Columbus, up to Lima, Fort Wayne, and on to Fort Wayne's next big city, Chicago. There hasn't been a service east and west here in Columbus since 1979. The other idea that's percolating is called 3 or 4 C's and a D. Through Dayton, service would come down from Cleveland, through Crestline, that's another C, to Columbus and on to Cincinnati.
Well, the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, or MORPC as we know it, has teamed up with other cities and commissions to develop a line. And they've pledged $650,000 toward a line that would connect Pittsburgh to Chicago right through Columbus. Now, air travel is also getting a big upgrade to the tune of $10 million at John Glenn Columbus International Airport. Take a look here. The money from the Federal Department of Transportation will help build 12 new boarding bridges to move passengers faster and handle increasing demand. As we reported, CMH is undergoing a $2 billion expansion that will also add 7 new gates.
We have more nonstop destinations today than we've ever had, and we are working on new ones every single day.
And that was former Columbus Airport Authority President Joseph Nardoni, who spoke to us 2 years ago during that groundbreaking for this expansion. The work is expected to be finished in 2029. Well, this week we are seeing where Boomtown meets sustainability. In Granville, a new solar array was installed on the historic Bryn Du Mansion, harnessing the sun to help power one of Granville's most treasured historic landmarks. And in Columbus, the city's largest hotel tops off with a purple rooftop. This captures stormwater for reuse. Hilton Columbus Downtown says this effort shows how development and sustainability go hand in hand by reducing the environmental footprint of thousands of guests every year. And during this Earth Week, we're also getting insight into how Amgen is making sure its footprint, look at that, stays green while it grows. Amgen right now is building the largest life sciences and pharmaceutical expansion in our state history. We're talking about manufacturing history, and it's right in our own backyard in New Albany. So I went on site to see how this global biotech leader is working toward carbon neutrality. You guys want this new building for Amgen to really set the bar when it comes to sustainable manufacturing. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I think we really set the bar with building, with the initial building. Building 2, we're expanding, or we're really carrying that forward. So for example, in building 1, we've got a cold room like you see behind us. It's got more conventional cooling in it. In building 2, we're using a CO2 system, which is much more environmentally friendly and is allowing us to advance some of our sustainability efforts even further than we were able to in the existing building.
So for the layman person, when we hear it's a cold storage unit, what does that do here?
All of our product that comes in, all of our medicines come from other Amgen facilities. They're either in vials or syringes, and they have to be kept at certain temperatures. It's a 2 to 8 C or a 2 to 8 Celsius cooling room. So all of our incoming product goes into a cold room until it is processed into our manufacturing or through our manufacturing and assembly facilities, and then back into the cold room where it's kept until it is shipped out to our distribution centers.
The CO2 it's a big example for us because we are the first site that we're using it, where it's environmental friendly, it's non-toxic, not flammable, and we're able to cool our systems without any environmental impact.
I read that this growing campus is on track to become Amgen's most environmentally advanced site globally. Why did Amgen choose New Albany to lead that way?
That is an excellent question. I think it starts with the community. It starts with the talent that we have in the community, and it starts with the support from the community in building and implementing something that we can all benefit from. Ohio is one of our newest facilities that actually has implemented a lot of the strategies that Amgen has developed in achieving environmental sustainability. Some of those strategies include wastewater management, carbon neutrality, and water conservation. And we're able to achieve that actually in Amgen, Ohio, not only in our first facility, but also in our second facility based on the technologies that we're using. You know, starting with LED lighting, to give you some examples, how we manage our HVAC system, so are able to reuse the heat, and cover our spaces through the chillers that we have. And then again, the driver is not just a check in the box type of exercise, is really how we're contributing to the environment. We have a solar farm actually, and we do monitor the solar farm usage. We have so far, since it was implemented, I believe it was March of 2024, we've saved about 165,000 gallons worth of fuel. We planted about 40,000 trees, if you wanted to equate to something that makes more sense. And we powered about 300 homes. And then we took another 300 or so cars out of our streets, right, by having that technology and having it readily available.
How would you rate this growth that Amgen is contributing to here in Central Ohio?
It's a tough question. I think that the site will continue to grow here in Ohio. I feel it driving into work. Every morning. We have a lot of footprint. I mean, we're sitting in about 333 acres. So the growth will continue for us in Ohio. More people, more staff as we're expanding our operations. And then certainly the opportunity that it creates, right, for future sustainability initiatives.
When we talk boomtown, you certainly have seen then the growth from 30 years ago to today. How would you describe it?
Wow, that's a great question. It is, it's unbelievable, I guess is really the word I could say. Used to drive in the New Albany area, 30 years ago, and was nothing here, and now it's hard to drive in the New Albany area because of all the traffic. So the growth has just been staggering to me.
So how does it feel knowing that you're working for a company that's making a difference in your home state?
Oh, it's amazing. Our mission is all about people, and then we achieve that mission in a way that really promotes sustainability, promotes well-being within the community.
And again, in our backyard. Now, on the other end of Central Ohio, the village of Plain City is turning 41 acres into a newly preserved natural park. Look at this. Volunteers from Amazon came out this week to plant trees as part of Arbor Day. We're talking more than 75 trees because this is a future site of Sugar Run Park. It will enhance biodiversity and help build a tree canopy for generations to come, not to mention adding walking paths and open spaces as well. Well, we know growth comes with its challenges, some growing pains, but also solutions. So we do want to hear from you. If you have any questions related to Central Ohio's rapid growth, just text us 614-460-3345. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. You can always drop a question right there in the comment section as well. Thanks again for watching This Week in Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. I'll see you again next week.